Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, American taxpayers, and anybody out there who likes making fun of the government. You're probably wondering, as you see, I've got my handy dandy shirt on of my opinion of the government and what they do. So you're probably wondering what we're going to talk about in today's video. Today's video is part 2 of trying to help the government out. You know, our almighty government, they work hard to give all those free handouts to the illegal immigrants and the lazy dark age Camelot players that sit around playing video games on my tax dollar expense with PPP COVID bailout loans through fake LLCs and being professional gamers and all. Okay, they're burying us in debt with it by doing it, and we're not going to forget about the corruption in Ukraine, okay, that they're financing while still trying to make payments on our loans to Russia, who's fighting Ukraine, ironically. So today we're going to talk about reconciling and balancing a checkbook. Just like paying a loan payment, this is a skill that only requires a high school diploma. So what I did is I'm going to do this the old school way. Huntington's bank statements no longer contain the actual worksheet like Skybank and Huntington and Second National did back before smartphones and apps, because a lot of this is not really hard to do. I actually learned it in 1995 in accounting and general business classes in high school. So you do not need 8 years of student loan debt and a fancy college degree to do this. The reason I'm doing it, though, is, our almighty government is really struggling. $31 trillion in debt. I happen to have the highest credit score in the country. And I even printed my bank statement up in color because my bank statement prints in a color of ink that Congress is completely unfamiliar with. The color of the ink is black instead of red, ironically. But this is a very informational statement. Can help you, make sure that your bank balance is correct so you don't overdraft and go negative. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and do step-by-step instructions on this. The tools that you will need for this exercise are as follows. You will need your check register. Since I have pending transactions that I just recently made an internet purchase, you may need your smartphone with your banking app. This would be an optional piece of equipment depending on how you do your banking typically. Okay, you will need an electronic or printed version of your bank statement. You will need a legal pad and an ink pen, or, some type of paper that you can write this stuff down on and do the math. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And while I'm getting ready to get started, I just wanted to throw my disclaimer out there. If my friends over at the NSA and the CIA that are watching my YouTube channel illegally, if you guys could go ahead and forward this over to Congress, just like reading the Constitution, which you guys were really thrilled about. I'm loving all the comments on my YouTube channel. Now that you see that I see the similarities of Hitler and everybody that runs communist countries taking away people's guns, and the liberal hypocritical crap party trying to do exactly the same thing, and history is repeating itself. So this would be great if you guys could go ahead and pull this video, since I know that by mentioning Joe Biden's name, Prism's algorithms are going to go ahead and pick this video up and forward it to you and get it to Congress, because then they can't say they didn't know how to do this. Okay, they no longer get plausible deniability. Okay, so the best part about this is you'll notice, unlike Congress, my beginning balance might have started at $1 last month, but my credits, meaning the pluses, are greater than the debits, which are the negatives. Now, this is a strange concept for Congress, but, like I said, I'm really trying to help you guys out. I really, really am. I mean, y'all got college degrees. I've only got a high school diploma. Y'all got a $3.5 trillion budget. I got $31,000 a year before you tax me to the brink of starvation. And you'll notice at the end of the cycle, I had a positive balance. Okay, notice it shows an average balance, how low the balance actually got through the cycle. A couple things that'll also show is your credit activity. I work for a living, unlike lazy Dark Age Camelot players. So I actually have credits from a company that I work for, okay, because I do leave my house. It will show you the checks that you have written and the amounts. Notice it also shows you the date of statement activity. Okay, there is a disclaimer. And you will also see all your withdrawals, any type of debit card purchases, and any other type of withdrawal debit activity, like when I use my Target debit card to save 5% on Target purchases at Target. Okay. And then it shows you the balance activity every so many days, what the changes were. Okay. Now, the important thing to remember here is in your check register, you'll notice a box with a little check mark. Okay. That's what that check mark box is for. When you go through these statements, you're supposed to put the check mark next to everything that's posted to the account. All right. So we see this is statement activity from 9/21 to 10/20. Beginning balance, $1. Beginning balance, $1, ironically. This happened to actually work out perfectly. I didn't even know that before I opened my check register. Okay, so we'll see. I recorded my deposit from my employer. And see, I correctly recorded the deposit. So it is on the bank statement. So we put the check mark in the box. Because this posted to the account. We've now confirmed this to be a correct transaction. Now, I show a $300 withdrawal. Okay, now I put these in a day late because I made them after 5 p.m. on the business day. Okay. Huntington did post it on the day that I made it. You can see I made it out at the Eastwood Mall in Niles, Ohio. I got nothing to hide here, people. There's the $300 transaction. So we put the check mark in. Okay, and like I said, the purpose of this is to make sure you don't overdraft your checking account, because then they're going to hit you with late fees and bounce check fees. And actually, bouncing a check is a felony because a check is a legal document. It is a form of fraud. I wonder if that's why Amazon will not let you make purchases if your IP address comes from Washington, D.C. because of related to fraud activity. I don't know. It's a mystery. I know when I tried to book the laser tag tournament, I had my VPN on Washington, D.C., and I had to turn it off because even the company for the laser tag tournaments said it's related to fraud. I wonder how China feels about our rubber checks when we're trying to pay off our debt to them. Okay, so continuing. All right, so we got check number 1618, Northwest Bank, 21642. That would be a car payment. Okay, well, notice I do old school math, reducing, carrying the one, things like that. None of this Common Core shit they're trying to push on kids nowadays, which makes absolutely no fucking sense how to do math. All right, so we got to find the transaction on the bank statement. Oh, there it is. There it is right there. Date paid 9/27. So notice, I wrote the check on 9/21. It took 6 days for it to make through the mail to the Federal Reserve banks and back to Huntington for the funds to be released to Northwest. Okay, that's what an outstanding transaction is. The worksheets they used to have did that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and check that off. All right, because that's posted to the account. Okay, we'll see. I got a Laser Storm Pittsburgh. Okay, I used my debit card for going to play laser tag because I was out of cash. There is an electronic funds transfer for sheets. Okay, so those, we have 9/29 Laser Storm Pittsburgh, purchase at Sheets. Okay. Now notice, I did this on 9/27. Okay. Even an electronic funds transfer can still take 1 to 2 business days to post to the account. So we check those off. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this real quick. As you kind of get the idea at this point. Okay. It only takes a few minutes to do this. All right. And then I'll show you how to use the legal pad to do the actual reconciliation process to make sure that Huntington's balance matches the final balance in my check register. Okay. Because outstanding transactions and pending transactions have not necessarily posted to your account, which means Huntington's balance may be higher, or your bank's balance may be higher than what you're writing in your register if you're doing this exercise correctly and you're utilizing proper banking techniques and proper bill payment. Congress, I know you guys are going to love me at the end of this video, and stay tuned because I do have a third one in this series, okay? It's going to be how to create a budget. It is an optional part of the series, but it does help, especially when you're buried out your ass in debt, for getting the debt paid off, okay? And we'll cover all that because I've had to make some changes in my budget too. All right, so I'm going to put the phone down for a minute and go through this. Let's see, target 927 for 201.39. Okay, so I wrote that one in a day late because it shows it posted on 926. And the reason I wrote it in late is I was waiting on the email because that was a Target.com purchase. Okay, Allstate Protection. All right, that was the 2-year service plan that posted. All right, 928. Okay, that's in here. At least let you see me marking it off, so you got to look at my table the whole time. Okay, let's see. Dinner 2016, because I damn sure ain't cooking. I hate washing dishes. Let's see. I had to purchase stamps at the post office. That's in here. That's posted to the account. I got an $80 withdrawal. Okay, that one's posted to the account. All right, I had to get gas on October 1st, but it didn't post till October 3rd. But it posted, so we'll check that one off. My electronic funds transfer for my life insurance plan that has my rainy day fund attached to it, $50. Let's see, where is that on here? That would be other debit activity. And that posted on 10/5. I wrote it in 10/4. Okay, we got a deposit, $975.48. Oh, there it is, 10/5. Okay, got me back up from $1. And you'll notice that I consistently leave my account at $1 if I do not have enough money to cover all of my bills and credit card payments at the end of a month or a pay period cycle. And that is because as long as I have at least $1 in the account, I don't get hit with overdraft fees. And then I don't start getting a reputation on my credit worthiness like the almighty government. And then I don't start getting laughed at like the almighty government. Since you guys are wiretapped into me, I know you'd be hearing all the jokes I make about your guys' credit score being absolute zero in public. I'll bet you're loving that right about now. It's gotta suck when you violate my rights and I catch you in the act, because now you can only sit behind your desks and grit your teeth, and I can have my fun. $300 withdrawal. 10/6. Okay, 10/6. So that posted. All right. Discover card payment. Oh, yes, that reminds me. When we get into the reconciliation process, I got a text message from Discover today. A text message that the almighty government never receives. Let's see. Where is that one? Okay, electronic funds transfer, so that would be a other withdrawal debit activity, but it is in there, so we will check it off. Dominion Energy, I paid my gas bill. That was a check. All right, let me see, because that... Oh, that came out of my other withdrawal debit activity for some reason. That's strange. I wrote check 1619. Huh. Wonder why Huntington put it there. Well, good thing I'm looking over this thoroughly and taking my time to do it right. Okay, 1620. Ohio Treasurer of State. Okay, now that's for my vehicle registration. Okay, that one has not posted to the account yet that I have seen, and it does not show up on my bank statement. So we don't put a check mark in this box. We got to check pending transactions to see if it posted in the current bank cycle. Okay. All right, 1621, $35. That posted on 10/17, and I mailed it out on 10/7, but it is on there. So we're going to check that off. I got a $60 withdrawal that I made on a Friday that did not post until a Monday, but it is on there, because if you do make a withdrawal, like say on a weekend, your bank doesn't necessarily post transactions till the next business day. So if they don't consider Saturday or Sunday a business day, or they consider Sunday to not be the business day and you make the withdrawal after their operating hours on a Saturday, it may post late as well. These are things you got to consider when you're taking money out. That's why it's important to always write these in as soon as you can when you make the transactions, even if the bank doesn't release the funds immediately. Okay, so 1011 Country Fair. I got gas, 1723. That should be, here we go. And that one actually did post on 1011. That one posted immediately, actually, surprisingly. So we're going to go ahead and mark that off. We got another deposit. I'm back down to $1 again. And then my deposit goes through on the 19th for $914.57, which it does go through. So we check it off. And then we have a 1019 Discover payment, $506.88. Okay. And I know that one posted to the account today, which means it'll show up in my current cycle, because when I get into this next step, you're going to see the text message showing they received the payment. It's a beautiful feature from Discover. Like I said, the text message phones on almighty government members, they don't receive. They don't know how to fucking pay debt. That's why we're doing these videos, to help them out. $300 cash withdrawal, which is on there. Okay, so we have Ohio Edison, 1019, $51.16. That's my electric bill. It is not on my bank statement, so we do not put a check mark. And then we have a purchase from Customize You for an open-ended ring that is personalizable that I wear on my left ring finger. It's a soft metal and I work in manufacturing, so this is the second time I broke this ring. This is now the third time I've had to order it. So this time around, I think I am going to keep my gloves on to protect the ring from catching on things, since it is an open-ended ring and that's what's causing it to break. But I know that that account, or that transaction, obviously has not posted because I just made it yesterday. All right, so here we go. Our balance is $25.63. So when you do the reconciliation process, okay, you have your checkbook balance, okay, which is $25.63. Okay. Now, we got to get into the transactions that are pending or posted in the new cycle to make sure everything works out. So I'm going to go ahead and put my screen lock password in, which is fuck Joe Biden. Okay, so I got to get logged into my Huntington app real quick. My battery is low on the phone, so I might need to plug it in and charge it. In fact, I think I'm going to do that while I'm waiting on the app to load. Okay, let's get the charging cable plugged in. All right, there we go. Okay, all right, now that I got logged in, now notice my Huntington balance is showing I have $113.16. Okay, so notice, like I said, it's plus because I have transactions that haven't posted. I have checks that have not cleared. Those are called outstanding transactions. So what you got to do is, on your legal pad, you also have to put your Huntington balance that's showing. Okay, now we know from the start of the exercise that my written check to the Ohio Treasurer of State for my vehicle registration has not cleared yet. So we know that's an outstanding transaction. So you got to write that down. Oops, misspelled, because I can't spell any much better than I can type. Okay, so that was a check for $36.47. So you got to write that down. All right. The other two transactions are check number 1622 to Ohio Edison for $51.16. Okay, and the Customize You internet purchase for $32. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if any of these are posted on my current bank statement cycle, which would have started on 10/21 or yesterday. All right, so I'll go ahead and click into the app. Okay, so what we have here, the Customize You purchase is pending. Okay, so notice the negative 32. Congress, I know you're all familiar with a negative sign in a checkbook balance register. I don't think, when is the last time you guys seen positive black ink on one of these? Probably before I was born. And that was 1980. Okay, I've been doing this for years. That's why I said, I'm trying to help y'all out, really, man. I just am. Okay, so what we can do is we can cross the $32 off. We don't need to subtract that. All right, because that is pending. So meaning the funds have been authorized, they just haven't been released, but they've been deducted from the account. Okay, so now we're going to need a slight calculator here just to double check the math. So let me get logged out of the app and grab my calculator app here. If you don't have a calculator app on your phone, a normal calculator works fine. So we have $113.16. And here's what we're going to do. Oh, I made a mistake on my math before I correct this. Let me go ahead and correct this. I accidentally put a 63 instead of a 53. See, I do make mistakes. That's the importance of these articles. So let me go ahead and readjust my checkbook balance for the correct balance of $25.53. Whew, glad I caught that. See, you can learn something. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. All right, so we have 113. So we got to subtract the outstanding transactions to see if my check register balance is going to match what Huntington has remaining in my account after they release the funds for those two transactions. So we subtract $36.47. That leaves us with $76.69. And from there, we subtract the $51.16. Okay. And we hit the equals, and it comes out to $25.53. Okay, Huntington. Actual balance is $25.53. So we got to subtract that from my checkbook balance to see if it equals to zero, the federal government's credit score and Joe Biden's IQ. And we've got a flat zero. We have Joe Biden's IQ on camera, the federal government's credit score. As always, guys, if you have any questions or comments, my AT&T customer service skills are pretty top notch. I'll be glad to help you in any way I can, especially you guys over at the NSA and CIA that are gritting your teeth right now for violating my Fourth Amendment rights and then being stupid enough to let me catch you in it. And what's worse is you guys are trying to push me over to the liberal hypocritical crap party. Like, are you on drugs? I will crawl through a minefield in a snowstorm in mud with 15 degree below zero weather while taking mortar fire and enemy fire and crawling through chicken wire in November to vote against every damn Democrat on the ticket. That's a promise. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.